Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. Another episode going into news and prophecy, linking the things that are happening worldwide to the Holy Scriptures so that the elect, the remnant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob can know that the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua are faithful and true, all right, and prepare themselves for that great and dreadful day, the hour of temptation, all right, also condemnation to the heathen nations, beginning with the rulers of this beast system, which are the biblical Edomites, okay, who are being revealed in this time, also the heathen nations who are joined unto them, for the purpose of this NWO, New World Order, that they have planned. Also condemnation to 2/3 of our own people who aren't hearkening to the new song sung by the prophets, which that song, all right, is the everlasting gospel, which is going to lead to the end, all right, of this current world, this beast system, all right, because the scriptures deal with the end of the world in the form of what? The end of rulerships, not like the whole earth, is getting ready to be engulfed in fire and no one will ever inhabit it. No, the scripture speaks about the transfer of wealth and rulership, and the kingdom that is getting ready to be set up, all right, is the kingdom of Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Most High, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And that is fulfilled in what? The throne of David, which the tabernacle of David is being rebuilt at this very second as the servants, the prophets preach this message. The remnant elect are being galvanized to turn back to the Lord, which is going to offset all manner of prophecy in the end that we so long for, okay? But it's going to be a very straight gate. Things are about to tighten up because according to prophecy, at the very end of this man's beast system, he would try to establish world domination via his left-hand blessing and technology. And while they're throwing all of these enchantments and distractions in your face behind closed doors, they are moving forward with a very, very wicked plan. And it's going to require a lot of death, okay? A lot of people got to go in order for this to work. And they're setting it up, with these distractions to be able to use particular talking points, particular deceptions and enchantments to pass laws to where people can't speak on the things that they're doing. So things are about to tighten up. Tyranny is getting ready to be enforced. As the scriptures say, he spake as a lamb, all right? The lamb is known as what? Meek, humble, trustworthy, not harmful, but it also said that what? At the end of it all, he speaks as a dragon. So he has two horns like a lamb, okay? And he's been able to use, the system of, the Republicans, the Democrats to, lead people into this false sense of freedom, okay? But through propaganda, everybody's rights are getting ready to be taken away. And this New World Order that we talk about is really nothing new. When you go into the scriptures, you read about Nimrod, which I have a 2-part lesson on that whole thing. Pretty much what he tried to do is, have a one world order, which the Heavenly Father wasn't with it. He tried to have a one world government. You hear about the Tower of Babel, which is pretty much what you see happening in a technological sense here. A one world order, via a technocracy, to where technology and artificial intelligence and wisdom will govern and trace and track everything happening amongst human affairs, and you will be linked into that system, which is the fourth industrial revolution, via, all right, a device which John the Revelator saw this beast system that rules today, issue it forth. All right. And when we hear this term that I have highlighted here, all right, we think that it's something new, but ultimately this has been tried before. It's just that now they have more technology, they have more power, they have more wealth, and the Edomites are fulfilling their blessing given unto them by Isaac. You see, that he would rule with the sword, he would have the fatness of the earth, he would control the resources. Okay? And this is we're just about at the end of this world, which is why he's moving with such fervency, because he only has a short time to get this done. Now, I have this article here, which there's a lot in this article, so it's best, if you're interested, to look these articles up. This is off of Blacklisted News, and as you can see, the title of the article is "The Dark Origins of the Davos GR." Okay, and everything that you see happening ties to this. All right, because they have the World Ec Forum, or the WEF, where all of these world leaders meet, to talk about the plans of the future. And the plans of the future that they have is ultimately you having nothing and smiling about it. Okay, while they have the world's resources, the land, and pretty much are going to be able to control how much you can have, how much you can eat, how much you can travel, and link it to a system that deals with carbon tracing. As a matter of fact, worldwide, you're starting to see this system be implemented. And it's coming here to America. Okay, this is another article. Australian banks, all right, began linking customer transactions to carbon footprint. Now, we've been talking about carbon footprint over the years, especially over the past 2 years, because this is their plan to ultimately track your carbon footprint in the earth. All right, because in their mind, linking to the whole Malthusian theory, there's not enough resources on the planet Earth to sustain the amount of people. Okay, so through wickedness, through left-hand means, they plan on getting a whole hell of a lot of people out of there and starting over with a new world. Okay, a GR. Okay, in which will be a system predicated upon tracking your every purchase, tracking what you eat from the time it comes out of the ground or wherever you, because they have new farming. Farming will be, something in-house where they will, ultimately by left-hand means grow and give you food. And it's already happening. The majority of the food we eat is fake. Okay. It's all genetically engineered and altered, but they have a plan called from farm to fork, where from the soil to when it comes out, it's tracked. When it comes out of the soil, it's tracked. When they take it out of the soil, it's tracked wherever it goes, all the way to the time it gets to your fork, to where you eat it. So to save the earth, they're going to track how far you travel, how much carbon, CO2 you emit for the purpose of global warming. And this is a very wicked plan that really has no good for the people, man. So we're witnessing these systems already. You're already starting to see on particular menus what you buy is all it has the amount of CO2 or it's linked to carbon somehow, right? You're starting to see that, right? Well, this is all happening. Okay, and Australia was one of the starting points to where they began to implement a lot of these unrighteous decrees because of the population. You have to understand that region of the earth was the last region conquered, so it's not a lot of people there. So they're able to try this out, try that out, and implement these tyrannical laws over there first in different parts of the earth, but ultimately this is their plan. Okay. Also in Japan. Okay. Japan sets up push to get public, get the public buy-in to digital IDs, and we'll touch on these things. Okay. But this is the plan that they're moving forward with. Okay. And here in America, as you can see here, give me 1 second. Okay, National Digital ID clears congressional hurdle amid fears it could be politically abused. All right, so as you can read here, it says, all right, a digital ID system for U.S. citizens is fast becoming reality following a vote by the U.S. Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee to advance improving digital identity. So within this new world, you will have a digital ID, all right? And we know and we'll show you how you will be linked to that. Digital IDs act as online, data-laden representations of human beings, all right? And you will be linked with machine. Many analysts, such as the authors of a 2019 McKinsey Global Institute report, argue they could be the key to unlocking access to financial services. All right, how you buy and sell. Okay, that's going to be the pitch, because buying and selling is linked to how people survive. But there's far more that they have planned with this. Okay, this technology, and they're going to transcend. All right, the concept of being human via their left-hand means. Okay, various government benefits and educational opportunities, which, a universal basic income is becoming a reality as the economies are going to collapse. People are going to then be brought into a system to where this is how you get money every month. These are the jobs you can work. And it's going to lure you more and more into that system. All right, which John the Revelator saw the system we're talking about. Let's read a little bit more of this and go back to the article I had at the start. Get into a lesson. It says benefits and educational opportunities, as well as a number of other critical services. Some of the same analysts, however, also warn that the risk and potential of misuse of digital IDs are real and deserve careful attention. Although the concerns about digital ID are real, it's important to separate the facts from the fear-mongering fiction. All right, and you keep going. We'll go back to this, but I just wanted to bring this out to let you know that this is the system that we see being set up in the planet Earth. You see, this is the new world that is to come, and things are going to change drastically now. To link this article to it all, you have the dark origins of DAVOS, the GR. See, which in Switzerland, all right, they've been meeting at the WEF, for the purpose of the plans for this new world. You see, and this talking point of carbon footprint has been at the forefront. Now, to link it all right, just to get a little bit out of this article.
But the truth is, Knights of Columbus, Opus Dei, Knights of Malta, Club of Rome, Council of 300, Council of Trent, Council on Foreign Relations, the list goes on. All of these are suborders of the Jesuit order, of the Holy Roman Empire, the rulers of today's Western world, the owners of the United Nations. America is their new world. Rome owns the world. Rome established the new world in which we live today. The New World Order has already been in place since the mid-40s. The NWO is not coming. It's been here for a long time.
It says it's important to understand that there is not one single new or original idea. Okay, and that's scriptural. As a matter of fact, let's get that in the book of Ecclesiastes. One of my favorite books. But we're going to get the book of Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, and the 9th verse. It says, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and the thing which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. All right. So this NWO, this talk of a one world order, you can go into the scripture. The Greeks tried to do it. They said that everyone should leave their laws and serve them. That's in the book of Maccabees. It's even in the history that they brought everybody under a system of registry. Okay, a registry to where ultimately you had to have a brand to their particular god, Bacchus. It was under a different name at that time as well. To prove that you had went through the necessary means and that you're ultimately you've bowed the knee. You see, many tyrants of old have tried to do what these devils are trying to do now. All right, but as this guy Noah Harari says, now we have the technology to complete what the tyrants of old couldn't. And they're boldly proclaiming these things, and they're not hiding it anymore. Like the dude who was interviewing Klaus Schwab said, he was asking him, so you mean, you're really going to try to change the people through, altering, their code and this and that? He said, absolutely, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what we're going to do. Undermining the Most High, it says, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had already been done of old time, which was before us. You see, and we're living in a revival of Rome. Now, within this revival of Rome, okay, we're going to go back to this article here. Let's read this. It says, it's important to understand that there is not one single new idea, all right, in Schwab's, okay, so-called GR, agenda for the world. All right. And Schwab is just the face. I mean, behind him, there's millions of other Edomites just working wickedness. All right. It's a small group of them, but pretty much everything's under their control. You see, and now you have the Holy Spirit coming, and it's something they can't control. So they have to hurry up. It says, nor is his fourth industrial revolution agenda his or his claim to have invented the notion of stakeholder capitalism, a product of him. All right. Captain Claus, that's what we'll call him. All right. You can look this villain up. He's like a real life villain, man. All right. And he all you have to do is type in Klaus Schwab. If you haven't seen it in any of my videos or brothers' videos, type in this name and then Fourth Industrial Revolution. Okay. And you'll see what his plan for the world is. And while we're not in the time of mirth, it says Captain Claus is a little more than a slick PR agent for the global technocratic, because that's how this world is going to be ran, through technology agenda. Okay. He's not just a PR agent for a global technocratic agenda, a corporatist unity of power, of corporate power with government, including the UN, an agenda whose origins go back in the beginning of the 1970s and even earlier. The GR is merely an updated blueprint for a global dystopian dictatorship, okay, under UN control that has been decades in development. You see, and it really goes back to Rome, as we're going to show you. The key actors were this guy, all right, the Rockefeller, which they got their hands in a lot of wickedness that pollutes this earth, and his protege, Maurice Strong. It says, in the beginning of 1970s, okay, there was arguably no one person more influential in world politics than the Rockefeller, then largely known as the chairman of Chase Manhattan. And this is the wicked, the scriptures. Okay, let's get that in the book of Micah, the 2nd chapter. because this all is going to link us to Rome anyway, which shows you who's ruling, the Edomites. It says, Micah 2:1, well, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Their beds is their rest. They are in their rest. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. And they covet fields and take them by violence. See, they're able to covet fields, use propaganda, and then take the field by violence. See, using their media, justifying, invading, justifying waging wars on people. You see, and houses and take them away so that they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Therefore, and that's what they've done. All right. They've been able to pretty much own the land, own the earth, in the sense that you don't have ownership of the land you're on. So it's only so far you can go. They have ownership of it. And this is the beauty of the kingdom we're getting ready to get. We're going to have ownership of the land under Yahweh Shai as joint heirs. We'll be sovereign. We'll be able to freely, righteously move throughout the earth without paperwork, without holdups. And wickedness won't be able to forward itself. So they've been able to oppress people. They've been able to oppress heritages, inheritance that has been passed down to people. All right. And then if you pointed out, they have the law to back them to where you're punished or seen as a criminal. You can see it all that's happening with this Kanye West thing. You see, it's tacky, but this is all a part of the agenda that they have to where you won't be able to say a goddamn thing about them by law. See, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. You're not going to get out of this one, because this is the time of your end. In that day shall one take up a parable against you, a shameful spewing. Everybody's cursing you out because everybody is starting to see the reality of things. People are withdrawn from this devil. His lies are no longer working. Okay? And it's all a part of the Heavenly Father's plan. That's why he says, stand now with your enchantments. And people are lamenting with a doleful lamentation. People are crying out. People are worn out. People want to be able to enjoy life. And people are looking at the future and how high things are getting and the squeeze that's happening on the earth. And they're starting to notice the trends. So people are taking up a parable against you, and you small hats, you Amalekites, you wall humpers, you're at the center of attention right now because of this prophecy that we're reading. People are saying, we be utterly spoiled. He have changed the portion of my people. How have he removed it from me? Turn it away. He have divided our fields. They own everything. And now you bring out the fact that they do, and you're hateful. Why? Because they're tied to the Bible, all right, via the biblical Edomites, the people whom the Lord hates. He totally disregards them. So now you're seeing this big push to get a control on hate speech. Okay, because this testimony we have calls him out, identifies him like nothing else can. Now, I'm going to jump here just to get this point. It says the Club of Rome. Okay, the Club of Rome. Now, he's just going to give you the history. Now, we always tell you that, everything you see is a rebirth of Rome. This system, this beast system, is a rebirth of Rome, which the rebirth of Rome, the Western Roman Empire fell, okay, for a period of 1,000 years. That's what you have, the Byzantine Empire. Okay, but after that 1,000 years, the deadly wound was healed. And this very system that we see in place is a fulfillment of that. The Renaissance all the way up to now has what? Healed that wound. Okay? And they've done a whole hell of a lot of wickedness. And they've been able to hide themselves and who they are under different terms, under these different organizations. But why would they call it the Club of Rome? Okay, because according to prophecy, real quick, Revelation the 13th chapter. All right. In the third verse, and it says, and I start at Revelation 13:2. It says, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard." John the Revelator saw a world rulership. All right, but it began with the Greeks. Daniel the 7th chapter links the leopard to the Greeks. The beginning of the Edomite power structure goes back to Alexander the Great. Okay, now before that, his father had been conquering, but he, all right, was pretty much the man. So this beast system is where you get democracy. There's a lot of customs that are in this world today that link you to the Greeks. See? But it was the Greco-Roman Empire. So it started with the Greeks. The first beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear. Okay, that's Russia. Okay, that bear, that great bear, is going to come out of hibernation, as you see it happening all throughout the news, and lead a war against this system, starting with a evil eye towards Babylon the Great over here in the West. And many of these various different countries, even within the beast system, are growing tired of Babylon the Great. So the feet of a bear is the end of this devil system. And that's going to be via Russia. They're going to lead the pack that leads to the end. It says in his mouth, as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon, meaning his fierce policies, his fierce way of ruling. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And the dragon represents Rome. Revelation, the 12th chapter, links the red dragon to the Roman Empire, Herod. Okay? So the dragon gave him his authority, as Rome is where he got the bulk of his power. You see? And I saw one of his heads, verse 3, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded unto death, and the deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. So the deadly wound was healed via the Renaissance, which Renaissance means rebirth. And when you go and get to the nitty gritty of what was rebirth into the earth at the time of the Renaissance, it was the classics. It was Rome, the mindset of Rome, the way of governing of Rome, the art, the architect, the philosophy, the ways of healing. All of it goes back to Rome. It was rebirth into the earth, which who ran Rome? The Edomites. That's why when you go into history, it was Edom, Rome. So the deadly wound has been healed all the way up to where we are today, to where you have this talk of a GR. Now, in 1968, all right, we'll call this guy DR, all right, David Rock, founded a neo-Malthusian think tank. Now, at Friday's live show, we spoke about this guy, all right, Malthusian. I believe his name is Thomas Malthusian. Let me just look him up real quick. And pretty much he was the, the Bill Gates of his day. Okay. Around the 1800s. He's a big part. He's a part of the beast system as well. All right. And a lot of his philosophies are what are running this current NWO. Now, when you look it up real quick, what's his name? I believe it's Thomas Malthusian. Anyway, Malthusianism, which this is him, all right, or relating to Malthus, is his theory that population tends to increase at a faster rate than its means of substance. All right. And that unless it is checked by moral restraints, either they're getting ready to check it, or disaster, such as disease, famine, or war, which they're preparing all of that. All right. Widespread poverty and degradation are the results. So they have to, through disease, famine, and war, get control of this thing. Okay. And it's all hidden under an agenda called, all right, global warming, right? So basically, there's too many people on the planet Earth. That's why you keep hearing overpopulation, this and that. It all goes back to this guy, which, if you can look him up. If you find something good that you want to post on the comment board, post it so that others can learn. But I'm not going to go too deep into him, all right, for the sake of the lesson and other things I want to bring out. But There you go. In the Club of Rome, all right, was a think tank that was based upon his theories. Okay? And it's very interesting that it's called the Club of Rome. But there's more things that link you to Rome, but it's all behind closed doors. But it's really outright, too, when you look at the architecture, you look at the Colosseums, you look at the Senate, you look at the policies, you look at the holidays, the classics, romance, and everything else. You're in Rome. It says the Club of Rome, along with Aurelio, all right, this guy, and Alexander King, it says this guy, you can look up these people, was a senior manager of the Fiat car company owned by a powerful Italian, which the Renaissance was born out of Italy. So these are just the Edomites at work. Now, of course, we had people over there as well, all right, but the people who are in rulership are the Edomites, the people who are at the forefront of this, all right? So this article is going to go into some of the things that led this think tank, all right, in 1968 and some of the 70s, man. Okay, now I'm going to just jump to this point. In 1971, a Club of Rome published a deeply flawed report, Limits to Growth, which predicted an end to civilization as we knew it because of the rapid population growth. And this is what this guy, Gates of Hell, talked about for years before, and he always told you we're going to create some juice to take a lot of people out, right? Did not he say that? We're going to create some juice to take a lot of people out, and then the juice came and people took it. Anyway, it says combined with fixed rapid population growth, combined with fixed resources such as oil, the report concluded that without substantial changes in resource consumption, the most probable result will be a rather sudden and uncontrollable decline of both population and industrial capacity. It was based on the bogus computer simulations by a group of scientists, and it was a bold prediction. If the present growth trends in world population, which the Lord told us to be fruitful and multiply, industrialization, and see, the earth is not overpopulated, it's just mismanaged. It says industrialization, pollution, food production, and resource depletion continue unchanged. The limits of growth on this planet will be reached sometime within the next 100 years. That was in 1971. And in 1973, Schwab, in his third annual Davos business leader meeting, all right, brought these ideas back basically into the forefront. In 1974, the Club of Rome declared boldly, the earth has cancer and the cancer is man. All right, what man? See, the people are getting ready to be blamed as the problem, but really they are the problem. Okay, and a lot of regular everyday Edomites are going to be a part of their cancer as well. They don't give a damn about y'all. See, y'all fought for this so-called white supremacist mindset, but it only helped you in just word. It never really benefited you in the riches and consumption and the ownership of land. That's why y'all all mad, you so-called white Edomites, Christians, are mad at the small hats. That's why you are a lot of the ones who are on these comment boards agreeing with Kanye West. You know, some Jake is waking up, but a lot of Jake is still crying about George Floyd and this and that, and they ain't getting the bigger picture out of what's happening. But a lot of these everyday Edomites are cursing out these small hats. Okay, it says the earth has a cancer, and the cancer is man. You see, the world is facing an unprecedented set of interlocking global problems such as overpopulation, food shortages, non-renewable resource depletion, environmental degradation, and poor governance. They argue that, and he has all of the facts in his article. So check that out. You see, and this is basically the mindset that is ruling and governing this this NWO you see happening now. So to get control of it, we have to stop, first of all, overpopulation, which on those Georgia Guidestones, they gave you all of their plans to get the population down to a certain amount. And it's interesting that when it was struck by lightning, they started to move forward, which could have most likely been a ritual. Everything that you see happening is clearly tied to left-hand means. Even the death of Queen Elizabeth, they're moving forward with their agenda, and you could clearly see it. Okay, now let's see here. It says they argue that horizontal restructuring of the world system is needed, drastic changes in the norm stratum. That's the fourth industrial revolution. That is in the value system and goals of man are necessary in order to solve energy, food, and other crises. Social changes and changes in individual attitudes are needed if the transmission to organic growth is to take place. And all of these talking points are now, but guess where it started? The Club of Rome, which let's look up the Club of Rome real quick. 1 second here. The Club of Rome. You can do your own research, but they have a homepage, a nonprofit organization of intellectuals and business leaders whose goal is a critical discussion of pressing global issues, founded in 1968. Yep. The Club of Rome was created to address multiple crises facing humanity and the planet. So it's very interesting that the very thing that runs this WEF meeting, all right, go back to something that was founded in 1968 called the Club of Rome, which that's ultimately what they're establishing in the earth. Let's go back to this article real quick and get a little bit more. I mean, it's so much in this article that it's hard to really, read the whole thing because we'll be here all day. But it gives you that history, okay? This is definitely a beautiful article. But what you see happening in the planet Earth is their plan to get control of that. Now, what John the Revelator saw in Revelation, the 13th chapter, okay, let's start at 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, the revival of Rome. And this is speaking of Babylon the Great, which is known as the little horn in Daniel the 7th chapter. And Daniel the 7th chapter clearly lets you know that the Messiah himself is going to return while this system is in rulership, this beast system. Okay? And the word beast is therion. I believe it means a beast, a savage, a ferocious, wicked man. And that's who rules this. And that's the Edomite, who was blessed with the sword and the fatness of the earth. So we're in his blessing. You see? And that's what's coming to an end, which is why you see all of this controversy going around the earth, especially surrounding them, because they're getting ready to pass legislation to where you won't be able to mention them as any part of the problem. You won't be able to have particular talking points will be outlawed. And they're making a fool of themselves, but this is what they're trying to do. They're showing you this is how we do it, or this is how we threw it. Okay? And they ain't playing no games and wasting no time. All of the sellouts are in place. The black boule are in place, which are the gatekeepers of Esau society. Gail, Diddy, all of these niggas are all in place to do their part, all right, to help him, okay, to be the talking point and to help him to get his order established. But it's all going to backfire. So I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, the democratic and republic, system, and he spake as a dragon. Now, this is what we're getting ready to undergo is draconian measure. Okay, this word dragon or Draco, which you see the word is Draco or Dracon. Okay, let's just go here. It's where you always hear about draconian measures. It's my bad. Let's get to the point. Draco, it says, was an Athenian lawgiver. Now remember, it said the beginning of this beast started with the Greeks. So you're going to see remnants of Greek culture and mindset that run this world today as well. But it's really Rome is what gave them their power. But it says Athenian lawgiver whose harsh legal code punished both trivial and serious crimes in Athens with death. All right. Hence the continued words of Draconian to describe repressive legal measures. And this is what's happening in the planet Earth. So he had two horns like a lamb. He comes with these two systems that, give you a false sense of freedom, a false sense of choice, a voice to follow after that, which is all the witchcraft, but in the end, he speaks as a dragon. Okay. Everybody loses. And this is where they're going with it. And speaking as a dragon is the draconian measure. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, Rome, okay, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And that's ultimately where everybody worships. They worship Esau, they worship his system, and they really worship the gods and idols of ancient Rome. All right, knowingly or unknowingly, if you're bound the knee to the image of Baal, all right, via the system they've set up. You see, and you think that this is civilization and nothing else can be without this civilization. It says, and he doeth great wonders so that he maketh fire to come down from heaven in the sight, all right, of men. All right. And that happened when NATO struck Kosovo, Bosnia. That was the first, but it led to things like Nagasaki and Hiroshima, which when people saw that, they were like, wow. But see, this is the technology the Lord blessed them with. And people were really in convinced that the so-called white man was God. And he deceived them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, his technology. See? And like stuff like this, If this is going to have people in awe. Give me 1 second. Let me go to this article. Technology that lets us speak to our dead relatives have arrived. So you're going to be able to speak to, Grandma Nadine, and they already do this, on all kind of levels. These elites, they got all kind of wickedness going on. When we find it all out, oh boy. But this is the type of stuff that they're doing. They're talking about, the blind being able to see. All right. As a matter of fact, let's just type in healing blindness with technology. With technology. Goodness gracious. I'm just going to type in technology. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, technology, application of science, and that's what you keep hearing. But healing. There you go. You can just look at we ain't got to click on all of it. You can go to news. Okay. Self-healing technology. It's going to be presented, all of this technology is going to be presented as the new way of healing as well. Okay, which they're doing away, as we'll show you in just a minute, with natural ways of healing. But it says here, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. All right, meaning you should live after the manner. Because what did ancient Rome do as they ruled? They went throughout the earth and dominated and made people to follow their ways and made people vassals. Okay? And the image of the beast is living and speaking through this very system we live in. And the Club of Rome is just one example. It says, make an image to the beast, which had the womb by a sword and did live. Ancient Rome. That's what they're establishing in the earth secretly. All right. Worldwide, they want to establish it. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast through this system, through the Senate, through the government, through the holidays. All right. And everything else we see, it all takes you back to Rome. It says that the image of the beast should both speak via the policies, via the vibration. It's not an image talking, but it's literally the image is what you see. Ancient Rome is speaking through America, through this beast system, the EU. It says, and calls as many as would not worship the image of the beast that they should be killed. Now, this word killed also means to be separated. So John saw people being separated from the system because they wouldn't bow. He saw people catching hell because they refused to bow the knee. Okay? And he saw some of them being physically killed. It says, and he calls it all. This is the point. Because while they're doing all of this madness, this is going to be the solution. He calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, okay, to receive a charagma in his right hand or in his forehead, that no man could buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So this is what we see being set up. This is the end game. This is the end result of what they're trying to do, okay, to control and limit the amount of, how far you travel and how much CO2 is being emitted, because everything emits, all of the acts we commit. We're walking, we're running. That's putting CO2 into the atmosphere, and then the atmosphere eats it up and produces oxygen. You see? But they're saying that is causing, the earth to heat up. All right? And we no longer have enough resources to control all of these people. And you know who that's aimed at, you Israelites, who you have the most children, right? So this is the John the Revelator saw them try to put a system in place, all right, to so-called bring in peace and safety. Which I don't know why this. Let's go right here. Let's go back here. But this very thing we see being set up in the earth has its origin in a system that links us to Rome. So we're right on point as concerning prophecy. Yeah, for some reason the page didn't want to load. Well, there you go. So there you go. But look that up. I'm pretty sure some other stuff in here as well. I mean, as I was reading it, there was some other stuff, but I just wanted to touch on that, because, that's what's ultimately coming is hell. All right. Reminder, a peaceful culling is underway. Okay. And they're doing all of the false flags and whatever as we told you, that we're going to come with all manner of confusion and false flags to justify what they're getting ready to do. Okay. The Club of Rome was founded in 1968 to deliberately push, all right, a global climate terrorism agenda. See that? That's what it is. Using the climate to usher it in, all right, in order to usher in the eventually planetary GR. Okay. Today, the WEF, you can look that up, and the UN, which recently said, you can't talk about this person, you can't talk about this kind of people, you can't believe in, conspiracies, and their various assets are the public faces of this psycho climate change scam. One of the founders and thought leaders of the Club of Rome was sociopathic enough to agree to an interview where he admits, all right, their agenda. See that word? Because that's what this is all about. They're trying to be the Most High on earth. Now, the Most High has a plan of NWO. The Most High has a plan of cutting off particular seed lines. The Most High has a plan of, killing off a whole bunch of people. Well, he wants to do it in his way based on his means. And he's going to find out soon that he's not the Most High. This is one of the talking points, it says we can have 1 billion people with freedom or 9 billion slaves. We're at over 7 billion right now, so we need to bring that down to 1 billion. See? And this is why in the book of Revelation, the 6th chapter, if I may, this red horse, okay, who was given power, that leads to famine, death, them coming after the men of the Lord, and hard times on the planet Earth. See? This is Revelation 6:8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. As they say, 2023 will be the year of hell. And we're not bringing this out without the balance that the Heavenly Father is going to deliver us, but we're speaking this all into existence as well. It says, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. So there's a lot of death getting ready to happen. It's already happening. You see, but they're going to use, propaganda to wage war on the people and starve people out. And through that, they're going to, use their power to bring you into that system to where, people are going to be like, give me whatever I need to have in order to make it, in order to live, in order to have comfort. And this is where we're going to have to lean on the Lord, because this devil is going all the way out. Okay? It says, I hope that colon can be peaceful and slow and equal between rich and poor. No, you don't. Dennis Meadows, author of Limits of Growth, Club of Rome. See? So we're in Rome all over again, man. See? But it's all going to fail. Okay? Let's read this. It says, if history teaches us one lesson, it is that evil always loses in the end. Freedom, morality, all right, and enlightened interdependence always triumphs. That is, until the next wave of evil gathers again. Well, the scriptures tell you, all right, that evil ain't going to rise again. Okay? The scriptures tell you affliction is not going to arise again. Let's get that real quick. This is it. But he is going to lose his mind. He is going to try it. It's in the book of, I believe, Malachi or not Micah, or where is it at? Let's see. Zephaniah, I believe. So things are about to tighten up. Nahum 1:9. What do ye imagine against Yahweh? As a matter of fact, see if there's something else. Let me just jump to the point. This is Nahum 1:9, and he spoke and prophesied during the rulership of Nineveh, which Nineveh is the capital of Assyria, which that was one of the places built by Nimrod himself as he went conquering. And this place, Babylon the Great, America, is likened unto Nineveh. It says, what do you imagine against the Lord? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time. Okay, affliction is not going to rise up again. This is it. Okay, for while they be folded together as thorns, and while they are drunken as drunkards, they shall be devoured as stubble, fully dry. And we know Esau is tied to stubble. Babylon, Isaiah 47, is tied to stubble. It's going to come to naught. It says, there is one come out of thee that imagineth evil against Yahweh, a wicked counselor. Okay, and that's you Edomites. Okay, that is you Edomites, man. You're in this stead now. You're that wicked counselor. All right, and like we're reading here, it's all going to fail. Okay, it says techno-communism will fail. Okay, what the hell is that? Let's look that up real quick. See here. Techno Communism. Okay, techno-communism. The way to a bright future, not politics. Well, let's see here. Techno-communism is the society of high scientific progress and the highest degree of humanistic. It is the world without borders, without ethnic, all right, tolerant world, integrated, scientific, all right, aesthetic, multi-planetary, progressive, automated. In the current time, the world is divided on the basis of inequality and the level of development, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, and they got, articles that go into it. Just stuff to look up. Let's go back here. Let's get that out of here. Get that out of here. Let's go back here. It says techno-communism will fail. The GR will fail. Central bank digital currencies will fail. And the various psyops will fail. It's all going to fail. All right, but they're gonna they're gonna bring it on. The scriptures say when he's about to fill his belly, all right, then shall sudden destruction come, and mass included fear will no longer work on increasingly awakened populations. This is why they have to shut down particular mindsets. There will be no fourth industrial revolution. All right, the fourth turning will make sure of that. But life will get worse before it gets better. Now he doesn't know, and he ain't speaking from the perspective of the kingdom coming. But we are. Yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Okay? P.S. When Captain Claus and his in-house jargon generators came up with their, all right, you won't have a goddamn thing and be smiling, as you can see that quote here. Quote, they were simply ripping off Brave New World and its perma-high on Soma techno-communist Fabian society, to wit. Let's read this. But Henry Tone was almost for a moment melancholy. Do you know what that switchback was, he said. It was some human being finally and definitely disappearing, growing up in a squirt of hot gas. It would be curious to know who it was, a man or a woman, yada, yada, yada. He sighed. Everybody's happy now. You can read this. But this is all of their plans. You can pause it and read that. Now, as you see at the bottom here, it says ban on natural, non-synthetic drugs and medicines. That's one of their plans, and I want to bring this out too real quick. Because Lord, and this is the man of sin. All right, we have this bill S.4090. Okay, and brothers been sending around this video where they're saying, they're gonna, ban and regulate, things like sea moss, natural healing, because what you see happening on the planet Earth, which I have a video here, what you see happening on the planet Earth is people are losing trust in this devil. Okay, people are, people no longer lean on this man. Like, people are like, this is some bullshit, man. Okay, people, have seen what happened with the juice. People are leaning more on natural, things to take care of themselves. The hospitals, people are leaving. People are saying, you know what? I'm not, I'm weaning off of, these pharmaceuticals. I'm weaning off of this and that, high blood pressure, meds. The people, starting to lose trust. So they're losing money. They're losing influence. And it's all falling apart. So they have a plan to pretty much regulate people who, use the earth to heal. All right. Now, and this is not, medical advice. We're just going through what's happening in the news, right? Now, let's listen to this, and then we'll get some of the article as well. As you can see, this is Dr. Bob Macaulay, Macaulay. It says Dietary Supplement Listing Act of 2022. All right, from hell. Let's listen to it.
Well, as if the federal government doesn't control enough of our lives, we're under the thumb of the federal government everywhere we turn, from the tires we put onto our car and the foods we put into our body. So what this is by two, a Republican and a Democrat. So this is bipartisan. Braun is the Republican, and then Dick Durbin, a Democrat. I wonder really who's paying them to put this out there. Somebody's paying these two guys.
You would think this would be in mainstream media and news, but they ain't talking about it. That's why they're trying to, shut people the hell up, because if you go and type this in, S.4090, it'll come up, particular, government websites. But if you just go to news, nothing. Nothing. They ain't talking about that. They're shoving propaganda down your throat. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're moving in on all out control and tyranny. See? Now, we have a copy of it. All you have to do is go to their website. This is off of congress.gov. Okay, and what is it saying? To improve the transparency and availability of information regarding dietary supplements by amending, Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act to require manufacturers of dietary supplements to list dietary supplements with the FDA. And it sounds simple. You're just going to have to list it, but there's going to be more regulation. If you have a business and you sell tinctures, you do this, that, all right, it's going to put hell on you. It's going to make it very tedious. And that dude, Sebi, and I remember Dehudi Madarat, which used to be big on YouTube, but they got him out of there. They pretty much ran him into a corner. And he was like, to hell with this. But they talked about how, once they got big, these particular corporations, they would show up and they would, make them take their herbs through this process of radiation. So it couldn't be as potent as it was intended to be. This man is the complete devil, man. You see? So they're going to be, let's hear him talk about it, but they're going to be regulating more and more because they're losing. Okay? People are no longer, going to this man. There's, only so much you can say on this topic, on this platform, but what you see happening is this devil is, he's losing his power, because what does the scripture say? Okay? As a matter of fact, let's get it. Let's go back here where we were. Let's go here. Give me 1 second. This is Psalms 104 and 14. He calls it the grass to grow for the cattle and the herb for the service of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth. Okay, so and not only is it food, but your food is really supposed to be your medicine. You see, and when you go here, Sirach, okay, the 38th chapter, in the 2nd verse, it says, of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the King, which is Yahweh Shai. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. And the true physician is Yahweh Shai, but he sets up, men on earth, all right, through the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to heal as well. This word is the true healer. But within this doctrine and this gospel, you learn how to take care of yourself, which is things we were never taught, because they always wanted you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to be under their heads, to be controlled, not to think for yourself, not to use the Lord. And see, the remnant is going to lean on the Lord. You see? So the remnant are being healed. Now, we all catch hell, but we're no longer leaning on you devils. And outside of the remnant, the people of the world are turning away from you devils. there's so much information out there letting them know that this system that you have set up is evil. Okay, and we know what the Rockefellers did. Okay, there's information out that they pretty much removed natural or nature. All right, things of nature as the true way of healing, and replaced it with, petroleum based medicines. Anyway, just get to the point. Verse 4, the Lord have created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. All right. And with all of the, because the Food and Drug Administration, they regulate, these particular herbs and stuff like that, but not like that. But they're getting ready to turn it up a notch. All right. As if, things of nature are just destroying people. No, what's destroying people is Burger King. All right. The fast food. Okay. Chemicals in the food. But they're not going to regulate those things. Those things are still, you drive by McDonald's to this day, it's packed. You see? But no, they're gonna regulate the things that come out of the earth and put hell on people who have these particular businesses, all right, and who have influence. Okay? Let's listen to a little bit more.
No doubt about it. So what this is going to be, I'll just make it real simple for you because it's not a really long bill, but what it says is we'll have to go to the federal government to get approval for any supplement. So your multivitamins all the way down to,
Give me 1 second.
To, mucuna, bacopa, ashwagandha, spirulina, chlorella, kind of things that I sell. So you would have to get the approval of the government for your particular supplement. Well, that'll drive every single small company right out of business. All the diets, all the small little companies that are out there will just be gone overnight. I mean, who could possibly start listing all their products and then wait for approval from the federal government? You've got existing supplements and then proposed supplements and then discontinued supplements. You got to file all this paperwork. It's a huge amount of paperwork. Every single, supplement that you have to, it'll probably take you an hour to list each single supplement. Now I'm a little tiny company, and we have, over 250 different products here. So I'd have to list every single one of those out there. Or they would just, come and raid me, I guess, or, start shutting everybody down. I think the big corporations would do pretty good under this because all the small companies would just go out of business overnight. It seems like that's what they just want to do on everything. Just put everybody that's small out of business like they did.
Cut out the middleman. That's what this collapse, and that's what since 2020 when all of this started with the Crown Royale 2019, that's what they were doing. It was a power grab, and there won't be any middle class. There won't be any middleman. There won't be any farmer or local person you can go to say, I need this, I need that, outside of the systems and corporations set up and approved by them. And then you're going to have to go through a particular system in order to get those things. See? While all of this stuff is happening, they're all of these food processing centers are being destroyed. They're garnering all of the land to themselves. All right, and by the time you look up everything, they'll have everything, and that's where you have to go to get it. The farmer is being told not to farm. They're being shut down. Okay, and now they're coming after people who do natural healings. You see? So we're going to have to lean on the Lord even more. Let's go.
Did during the pandemic, and then all the big guys, what we call the bigs got bigger, okay? And the big supplement companies, they're going to get bigger under this. They're going to get much bigger. And then companies like mine will just go out of business. Sometimes, and after a while, you feel like you just want to give up. I mean, how much paperwork do these people want? Well, they want more than you can give them. And again, what they're going to have in these other companies is just a department that they do nothing but churn out this kind of paperwork for the federal government, and they're going to survive. And the quality of the supplements are going to go right down the tube, and you're going to get whatever giant corporations want to give you for supplements, and that'll be your only alternative. This is pretty serious stuff. Are they going to?
Yep, this is zinc, and it'll have like 3%, actual, because that's what they do, and then they add all manner of garbage to it.
Going to do that for foods? No, because people ask me all the time. They say your spirulina and chlorella is that FDA approved? Well, thankfully, thank God that the FDA doesn't approve foods. Okay, if they find a problem with the food or a supplement, then they come in and intervene. Maybe this is hurting people, maybe it's killed a few people, maybe it's got bacterial problems. That's fine. That's what they should do. But approve a food like broccoli, maybe? Are they going to approve that food? Or maybe garlic, or maybe corn, or wheat? What are they going to approve, and then what are they going to disapprove?
Right. So with this GR, all right, what's food and what's not food, what should be used to heal and not used to, it's all going to be regulated by a madman.
I've been investigated or really, reviewed by the FDA, and they show up here, and they're very nice people, to be honest with you. And they were here for like 3 weeks on and off, kind of kept coming back and looking at all our stuff. And we passed it. We got through the whole thing. It wasn't easy. They demand so much paperwork, but it's this idea of traceability. So you know that you bought this supplement for this whatever it was, say this raw material from one company, you turned it into this product, and then you could trace it when it went out to this person. And that's reason.
Yeah, the devil is
that's reasonable.
The prince of the power of the air is acting. Let's let this load a little bit.
That's reasonable. That's a lot of paperwork, but it's reasonable, because then if you have some contamination or somebody got sick or something happened, you'd be able to say, yeah, I got it from these guys over here. Maybe it turns out the raw material was bad to begin with. Who knows? So I'm all in favor of that. But when we start talking about every single supplement, well, the people that came here from the FDA, there were a couple of them, they had no idea what any of my supplements were, and they're going to regulate them? I was showing them shilajit, I was showing them ashwagandha, I was showing them frankincense, spirulina, chlorella, tongkat apple. They had no idea what any of these supplements were, like just the average person doesn't know what they are. It's people that are in the natural world, and they want to take supplements, and they've heard about these things. They're the ones that know about it. The average person knows about, McDonald's French fries, and that's about it. They don't.
And a big ass pizza. Now, see, people are starting to lean towards herbalists, natural people who promote this and that, and that's becoming the in thing. People are like, damn, and this is nothing but the man of sin at work. Let's get this real quick in the book of Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up in him is not upright, but the just shall live by his faith. And we're going to have to live by serious faith, man. Also, because he transgressed by wine, his philosophy, which these two things we've went into so far. I mean, it covers a whole hell of a lot, but it's a part of his wine, his philosophy. He is a proud man. Links him to Esau. This is Esau. Neither keepeth at home. He's all over the world doing evil, spreading lies. Who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death. It cannot be satisfied. He's not satisfied. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. This is what he wants, full control. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increaseth in that which is not his. All right, the true disease, the true cancer, as the Lord says in the book of Sirach, the 10th chapter. Sirach, the 10th chapter, okay? In the 10th verse, the physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king tomorrow shall die. Okay, like it says in the book of First Maccabees 2. Tap into that. And they were, he's, going into how we're going to be good, man. If we believe and stand for the covenant of our power, man. This is verse 62, First Maccabees 2 and 62. Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms. Today he shall be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he has returned to his dust, and his thought is come to naught. And these are the thoughts of his mind, being spread. But now people are coming up against him. So he behind closed doors is, working all manner of evil, calling on his witches and warlocks. And his, we're in a Sabbath, Shabbat Shalom, and his holy day, his wicked holiday has been falling on the Sabbath. For a lot of his wicked holy days on the left-hand side have been falling on our Sabbaths. You had a few little dirty, weirdo children come up and ring the doorbell for trick or treat. We're in a very demonic holiday, man. And what they do with these holidays, they put a little cute spin to it to make you think it's about candy and this and that. But no, that goes back to a very, very wicked, evil time, man, where they're calling on, the dead, calling on these particular gods and doing sacrifices and all manner of evil, man. The man of sin is being revealed. Daniel 7 and 25. He shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and shall think to change times and laws. And he shall be given, and they shall be given unto his hand until a time and dividing of times. And we're at the end of that. Where, from 1619 to around the 60s, we were just depleted through. But the Lord has sent the Holy Spirit. Yeah, we're worn out. Yeah, we live in a system that's totally contrary to righteousness, but we have the Holy Spirit, man. And this is clearly the man of sin being revealed. Again, the end ain't going to come except, we had that falling away, 70 AD. And then in the latter times, the man of sin will be revealed. He who comes to do the bidding of Satan. Let's read this in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9. We always go into this, but we told you we're going to be reading these same scriptures. There's way more. Okay. So that's why we go line up on line, precept upon precept. But there's particular scriptures that I'm going to hit. NLT, this man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit power and signs and miracles. See? Pseudoscience. He will come to do the work of Satan. What man? Well, okay, he even his own kind are calling him out. That's how wicked he is.
Don't know about supplements, and these people didn't know anything about them. And frankly, they were very impressed with these. Wow, maybe I should tell my mother to take this one. No, he said you should. She had some serious health challenges, but the idea of them coming in, we're going to register every single product with the federal government. No thanks. And then they're going to tell me whether it's approved or not.
Because a lot of people are taking these, these natural things to their fathers, their mothers. And now, the mother and father are starting to listen and take, these things, and they're throwing away, the lisinopril, which if you're a Jake, and if you're listening to this and you take lisinopril, just know that Esau created that to specifically destroy you. So you want to, do the hawthorn, the cayenne pepper, stuff like that, which ultimately far more better for you, because you got to understand, when the Heavenly Father, through the Elohim and the first fruit spirits, created all of this, it was created for us to enjoy. Okay? It was created to forward us. Okay? And when all of these things were created, notice that it said it was good. Okay? But instead of regulating all of the things that are destroying the people, he's fit to go in on the things that are made to help the people on another level. Okay?
This is very dangerous stuff, let me tell you something. They want to control every aspect of our lives. And, I've never made any kind of a political, and I don't consider this politics, but I'm in Michigan, so I'm going to call both my senators, and I'm going to say no to this. And that's what you should do. You should call your senators, because that's where it is right now. This is a Senate bill, the Dietary Supplement Listing Act of 2022.
Yep, and pretty soon with the right, false flag with the right propaganda, you won't have a say-so. And that's what this false sense of freedom and choice is leading to, tyranny.
I don't know if it has a number. I think it's 403, but it doesn't matter. Mainly, if you just look that up online.
And this was posted 4 months ago. All right, and only 2 comments. People ain't paying attention to this, but you go to a Kanye West or everybody's talking, and that's what they want, so they can label you and put you in this particular category, and then when they make their move, they already know who's who and what's what. You see, but behind all of these enchantments, this devil is coming with it. Okay, this is off of Tyranny News. All right, Captain Claw's right-hand man calls for mass extinction event to usher in GR. All right, you can read that. Germans take the streets to protest rising energy prices. See, all manner of uproars, and you just wait. Things are getting ready to tighten up. And 2023 is going to be challenging, but the elect are going to be all right. We were built and created, Lord willing, with that number to get the victory. Okay. Hundreds of woke Twitter employees flee to Facebook and Google so they can continue censoring users. Oh boy. So it's getting ready to be real annoying. Yep. Ooh, this is it. This is a good one here. I should have. Big nature versus big pharma. The biggest war ever waged is being fought right now. See, these are the things that behind closed doors. Okay, Australia following communist China's footsteps with the digital ID system. You got to fact check everything now because they're being exposed. Tens of thousands gather and pray to demand the end of sanctions. Yeah, I'm going to have to bring this one out as well, but not today. Yes, it's going down, man. Oh, this man is a complete devil. You can read these titles, Joe Biden demands American children be mutilated by trans surgical procedures and chemical castration. A man with no brain wants children to have no reproductive organs. Like, what type of agenda is that? Oh, man, check this out. And while they're getting caught out there, they're just going to throw out more propaganda and distractions because they're getting caught. That whole juice thing was people are finding out, man. They really messed over people with that. New Zealand farmers demand cancellation of Prime Minister Ardern's plans to tax the burps and farts of livestock, because what does that do? That creates that CO2 emission. So yeah, this is how crazy they're going with it. New Zealand farmers hit the street in October to join a countrywide protest against Prime Minister Jacinda Ardner's proposal to place a tax on emissions from livestock in a bid to address the climate change issue. So nature is getting ready to be blamed. Okay, nature is the problem. The Heavenly Father, the way He created this earth and the way He created, species and creation that's going to be the problem. Okay, and because cows burp and fart, that's leading to the earth heating up. You have to kill your livestock, or we'll just tax you, all right, on their farts. And how are you going to track burps and farts? Well, hey, we have the technology to do that. Sir, we'll be putting these and this and in your cows. Goodness gracious, man.
All right, back at it. It's been a while, but I'm going to get back to making videos. And what I wanted to start off with is what I've noticed over the past few months is kind of a coordinated effort to tell people like me or anybody who's criticizing the way the cattle market operates or beef market operates. There's just a coordinated effort to tell us to shut the hell up, really. And where it comes from is a lot of it is coming out of this magazine right here, Drover's Magazine.
You seen that, right?
This magazine right here.
See that? Them two horns? All right, but farmers are already experiencing the impact of climate change with more regular drought and flooding, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, these people are absolutely crazy, man. Who would have ever thought we would be here, But there you go. Maybe we'll tap into this in another video, but there's a war. All right, they're at war with nature. Okay? Anything that produces life, all right, to them, it's a problem. It has to be controlled. It has to be regulated. Okay? We'll tap into this in another video. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll get into that on another one. Damn, I wanted to get into this. I didn't even get to this. Well, we'll just do another news and prophecy tomorrow. I mean, there's so much going on. I had a whole video prepared to go into the anti-sim and how they're coming at us. But I was like, well, everybody's going into that. Let me tap into a little bit of what's going on in the world. Let's play a little bit of this, though.
Well, have you been paying attention to what's happening in Europe with energy crisis and protests and climate lockdowns? Well, if you live in the United States, that's coming soon to a theater near you because the United States is facing an energy crisis of its own, ill-timed, just a few days before the election. This comes straight out of the mouth of the White House economic team, and yet the mainstream media is pretty much ignoring the story because they don't want it to hurt the Biden administration and Democrats in the upcoming weeks. So the White House economic advisor, Brian Diaz, says we are facing a diesel shortage. Epic Times did cover this story. Here's the headline. It says, the U.S. only has 25 days of diesel supply. Shortage could cripple economy. Now recall that there will be less fuel in circulation starting November 1st because that's what OPEC Plus voted on. So energy is hard to come by these days. You can't just turn on the tap and it comes. The whole global supply chain.
Actually, you could turn on the tap and it would come if you would allow it to.
Yeah.
You wouldn't shut down a Keystone pipeline and allow drilling to take place and actually not sanction Russia. You could turn. Oh, and also don't blow up the tap, like in the case of Nord Stream.
Yeah, all of those things. Yeah, you're right. You could do that if you were playing sanely,
right,
with the plumbing, but they're not, right? So here's a shot out of that article. It says the country is down to 25 days of diesel supply with stockpiles at their lowest level for this time of year in records going back to 1993. In the Northeast, where more people burn fuel for home heating than anywhere else in the country, also use a lot of fossil fuels for cooking. Inventories are a third of their typical levels going into winter. National Economic Council Director Brian Deese called the levels unacceptably low. By late October, diesel prices had risen for more than 2 weeks to 50% above where they were a year ago.
Oh, those prices are cheap. 50% more for diesel?
Yes.
Holy smokes.
Now, most of your transport of the things that you know and love, most of the things that you can just reach out and touch around your desk where you're sitting right now, are shipped to you on trucks,
right,
most likely that run on diesel. So this means no more of that if things shut down, or at least much less of that. No gasoline transport of, delivery vehicles. No Amazon, no
I got a
Walmart.
question though. That makes zero sense. You know why? Because it takes less to refine diesel than it does regular fuel. So how is that?
So things are about to tighten up, but we'll get into more of that, in the next News and Prophecy. I'm going to end this one off. Hopefully I will edify it on to the next. Shalom. Giving all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, Bashim Hakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations unto the elect. Shalom.